Afternoon, David.
Afternoon, David.
How are you today?
All right, yeah. The strength and balance was the lessons today at Westmark. So I'm knackered.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm suffering DOMS, but there's a few wee pains in places where I didn't know had places. But anyway, there you go.
The joys of gym work.
Aye.
That's why I avoid it at all costs.
Very good. Right. So let's see. What are we up to?
For fairly young, with 41 and I told you.
Right.
Anyway, it's the Two Davies in the 11th of the 11th, 2024, and we'll get to that in about a couple of minutes. So, did you observe your couple of minutes silence today, David?
No, I'm sorry, mate. I'm totally switched off with the entire thing because it has become.
We'll get to that in a minute, David. I'm only asking you what you were doing.
Yeah, all right.
I take it you were in the gym.
Yes.
Me, I was in the supermarket.
Right.
I was talking to a wee woman about fish fingers, actually.
Yeah.
She was asking me what brand was the best. She was a foreigner. I don't fucking know. I don't eat fish fingers.
I did. Fish got fingers.
So it was a short conversation.
Well, I'm giving a shout out to somebody, a guy called Robert from Poland. He's an amputee. He came to the Westmark today, and he came armed with these things that were like donuts opened up, right?
Aye.
Got the chocolate in them and all sorts. Polish, right? And the tire box. He owns Paula's, the bakeries in Paisley. So what a nice guy. He's brilliant. He really is, honestly. I couldn't touch any of his stuff being diabetic, but seriously, he's a lovely guy. Really nice guy.
I think I've heard the place actually. Right, we're up early under the 100 mark, David, so let's get this underway, all right?
Yeah.
Set up. Look alert, dear boy. Come on, pay attention. We have an audience here. Right, SNP leader at Westminster takes stick for not singing God Save the King at Remembrance Sunday celebration. They also, being down that road and being self-centred and not really caring very much what goes on elsewhere in the Union, didn't they realise that he wasn't carrying the reef upside down? Scottish reefs are built the other way.
Yeah. Right. Oh. But even that, does it actually matter?
No.
No. So much as he brought one single flower, not mind a roof, one single flower, put it in, it's got the same impact, right? And the other thing is the actual whole of the Remembrance Sunday and all the rest of it. It's all about pomp and circumstance. It's a place for King Big Ears to show off his blooming guys and the horses and all the rest of it. Sorry, leaves me cold.
It's a celebration rather than anything else. But let's get back to the outrage at a man who doesn't believe in a monarch and a man who allegedly doesn't believe in God, but does respect the fallen, no singing a song to a deity he doesn't believe in, to bless a monarch that he doesn't fucking recognise. What a stupid notion. Suck it up, buttercups. So David, you know my feelings on how Remembrance Sunday has gone. It's become more a glorification of war and a celebration of war rather than a respectful remembrance of the horrors of war.
Yeah.
It should have been.
It should be run that way, David. It should actually be run that way. There should actually be a program on before it or after it or whatever, showing the horrors of war.
Yes.
Right?
It should be actually, what it should be, as well as respect for those who had to go into that theatre of horror on right moral grounds.
Yeah.
It should also be an education on why it is not how we go about settling.
Well, immediately you do that, you bring credibility to the phrase, lest we forget.
Yes, once we start that, you bring credibility to it. At this point in time, it's another fucking jingle.
Yeah. Another place,
I've got
for Prince Charles or King Charles or whatever they call him this fucking week to show off these 50 imitation gongs. There's one for shining your fucking shoes.
No, that was
There's one for tying your shoelaces. Yeah,
that was a shoelace tire.
Yeah.
Don't tie his own shoelaces for fuck's sake. Doesn't know how. You know, you big sausage fingers, how would they manage it?
Anyway.
But,
no, but in all seriousness, it's like, monarchy, let's get rid as quick as possible. To do that, we need independence, independence, independence. Right?
No, we don't. Get rid of the monarchy, we do independence.
But being an independent country immediately gives us a new, fresh spirit to look at it, right? So, and then by that time, we'll have got rid of all the old blooming sycophants. The ones that go, oh, we need the monarchy. Look what they do with the tourist thing. Oh, fuck's sake, honestly.
No, I mean, anyway, as I say, the outrage apparently, and thanks, Kevin. Really good, you. The only God saving I'll be doing is my cotton socks.
Yeah.
I didn't know your cotton socks were deities, Kevin. But I suppose we're on to worship something. If you want to worship your cotton socks, dear boy, that's up to you.
Up to you. Of course it is.
But anyway, you've had so much nonsense in all your life.
Yeah. It's almost, here's how the sycophant thing goes, right? If you don't abide by their rules and by how they view things, right? How much you blow and bend the knee for King Charles, right? Then you're not British. You're not uckish, uckish, right? Simple as that. That's the way it goes. So as far as I'm concerned, stuff them. The Remembrance Sunday should be something different entirely. It should be run by and attended by normal, ordinary people who are properly remembering their family that fought in a particular war and all the rest of it, right? And then followed immediately by a documentary showing you the horrors of war.
The stupidity of it, because it always ends up with a conference table in the fucking end anyway.
Correct. But let's look at Ukraine and Russia. Someday, that's going to be over and done with. And someday, Zelensky and Putin are going to sit around the same table. Doesn't matter who's won, doesn't matter who's lost, they're all going to sit around that table.
Yep. Right. This one sort of perplexed me. And I don't know why he did it. But I'm a wee bit worried now. Because after 25 years of devolution of being the top of that for 15, 17 years, John Swinney tells SNP members that the party's rebuilding. And I'm like, what?
News to me. I'm a member. You're a member. What rebuilding are we talking about?
I don't fucking know.
Correct.
Anyway, apparently we're in the stage of rebuilding. I don't know what we're rebuilding. What I do know is that until this Muppet realises that taking the cause of independence off the SNP agenda means the SNP become irrelevant, because that is their whole raison d'etre. And the fact that he's put it on the top shelf mark maybe later is going to be his downfall.
Let me do a simple call out. Hopefully this will reach the doorstep of loads of SNP members, right? We need a conference. We need a conference called by the members, not by the people that are in charge of the SNP, by the members. And that conference, the very first items on it should be John Swinney, in or out. End of.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there.
Go on then.
The first thing should be Swinney, here's where we're going, or you're out.
Yeah.
And once he tells us, well, we're voting whether he's out or no.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we're going to be fair to him.
I don't see why.
But as I say, I don't know where this is at. We are less than 18 months out for a holiday election. We should be battle ready.
Yeah, we're not. We definitely are not, because the leadership of the SNP are nowhere to be seen. Something like that.
Well, actually, to be more honest about it, David, we're not seeing any leadership in the SNP at this point in time.
Yeah. And but the any problems like that always fall on the man at the top or woman at the top, right? As far as that's concerned, Swinney is the person at the top, and because there's nothing being battle ready for the next election, he should be out as quick as we can do it.
I don't know about that.
Why not? Why not? He's a wrong person. He's a wrong person to do the job.
He is if he takes this one thing off the agenda, and that's what he's done. But hasn't he done it with your permission?
Yeah.
And all his platitudes about it's closer now than it's ever been. It's not a fucking campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
It's platitudes through the idea of, but no doing anything about. It's going to cause problems for him. Because he tries to go to the public and say, give me a mandate. Well, what are you going to do with it, John? Nothing.
Exactly.
We've been there too often.
Exactly. But the thing is, though, we need somebody. We had Hamza Yusuf, who was going to go plebiscite election, and he wanted everything that you and I were arguing for, right? And it's gone.
We were also arguing for making this election a plebiscite election, but unfortunately with the tanking we took in the fucking last one, there's no mandate for it.
Well, John Swinney has got to go. My opinion, but and we can.
I'm not doing this week with slap John Swinney shit. As far as I'm concerned, he's got time to put a plan together and put it in front of us, and let's see what he stands for. But at this point in time, the Scottish public don't see it, or the pro-independence movement don't see him as somebody who's going to lead us to the a promised land of independence, as they keep talking about. It will be a promised land, of course. It'll be our fucking graph. But at least it'll be our graph and our decisions. Because we've seen what happens when you leave the decisions to some fucking idiot 465 miles away.
I know. I appreciate that.
Right, better move on, because it's beginning to look like a week we slap down this one, and I don't like doing that. Because as far as it goes, his administration's ticking over well, because he is a good administrator.
I love doing that. I love slapping Swinney. I really do. Because he deserves getting slapped. Seriously.
I just want to know if he's got a plan, because at this point in time he's not telling any of us.
He's not got a plan.
The formation of campaign work for this 2026 election going on. I don't have an inbox full of people for the branch saying, what do you reckon we should talk about at this next day conference?
You're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be shocked at the next thing that comes out of Swinney's mouth. I don't know what it is. but I know for a fact you'll be shocked at it.
Right, anyway, let's move on, because this also involves Swinney, and that is political motivated strikes by trade union Unison in John Swinney's constituency of Perth and Kinross. Has come to an end, with Unison saying there will be no further action, and their plan call for strike action from all Unison members across all councils has been dropped. Now they're claiming it's because they've got negotiations with Cosler on £15 an hour at some point in the future, and less working hours at some point in the future, and the chance to get round the table with the Scottish Government to have a look at local authority funding.
Well, just for a start, talking about what you're talking about was getting things on. Let's talk about making it £100 an hour, right? Aye, certainly, we'll come and talk about it, right?
Aye.
Is it going to happen?
No.
No, right. So really, what units have done there is a dead cat.
Now what they done was take the slap in the face to go for their members who get 2 weeks poorer,
yeah,
whose kids lost out in education,
yeah,
whose grandkids lost out in education, and after that couple of weeks, they went, Scottish Government's no giving here. The other 2 unions have accepted, and I'm out of pocket. What the fuck's going on here? So basically, the strike went down like a lead balloon.
Yeah, yeah.
And more importantly, the members realised it was politically motivated.
Yeah.
Well, because let's face it, why wasn't Unison members called right across Scotland to support those people with Perth and Kinross? People of Perth are no daft. They're wondering why their next door neighbour and the council 1 hour isn't doing a fortnight's wages and kids haven't missed a fortnight's fucking school.
Mm-hmm.
They're no daft. So they gave their own trade union a slap, and I've heard that Unison members up there were moving to unite with GMB. Now this will be a warning shot to trade unions from their own members. You're there on your behalf. You're not there to put us out of pocket because you've got political masters.
Yeah.
That was quite a powerful message to be handed to you.
Well, certainly Unison were tied up with Labour, right? But a Unite and GMB, yeah, they will be. Of course they will.
But this is a slap that their members had to give them. Remind them what their job is. Your job's no to create a politically motivated strike unless it's directly involving a fine negotiations that we haven't accepted. Because they fucking, you know, they were accepting it.
Yeah.
Their colleagues were accepting it. You know. So a slap in the face for Unison, and maybe a lesson to the other trade unions. Don't make your members poorer for no reason whatsoever. They will bite back.
Maybe it'll be a lesson. Maybe it won't. I mean, maybe we've got to read another chapter before we come out.
But as chapter 1 goes, when the members tell their trade union, "Oi, how come I'm getting poorer, my kids are getting stupider, the guy next door and the same trade unions accepted the deal."
Yeah.
This was a wake-up call for Unisons when the members go, "Oh, hold on a minute. He's a Unison member and the next councillor, he's accepted the deal. What the fuck's going on here? Why am I 2 weeks poorer? Why are my kids 2 weeks stupider?" No. So it was a powerful message to them. Right. This next one, David. This one is going to me. And it's interesting. Teachers' unions bypass employers and demand Scottish Government issue guidance on restraining children and isolating children in schools.
Now, we can all, if you figure it through, we can all see what the outcome is, right? But do we know if this came from a bunch of teachers, or whether it came from the Scottish Government to say, well, if you ask us, we'll do the following?
No, what happened was teaching trade unions bypassed their employers to demand that the Scottish Government standardise standards on restricting and isolating children in school. So they did. And the teachers' trade unions don't like what came out. Because what came out was guidance to their employers on their legal obligations to the children, on what sort of restraints weren't acceptable by law, and reminded the teachers' employers that it was their duty to give their employees clear guidelines. Now, why did the Scottish Government do that? Because it wasn't their job. And we know what happened last time the Scottish Government tried to take something away from councils. They threw their dummies out the fucking pram, and the National Care Service went tits up. So what the Scottish Government did this time, when the teachers decided to bypass their employers and go to the Scottish Government and ask for guidance, the Scottish Government issued guidance. They issued guidance to the teachers' employers, which of course is the correct course of action. And they remind teachers' employers of the children's rights and their legal obligations to provide an environment, a nurturing educational environment where the children don't get stressed and don't feel in such a way where they can't go and speak to somebody about their problems, where they get to the point of violence. So that was the Scottish Government's take on it. But what's interesting about it is the Scottish Government decided that they weren't going to get involved this time because of what happened when they tried to take powers from council the last time. So what they did was they gave guidance to the councils and told the councils, speak to your members and give them clear guidance. Now, what the schools and the teachers are upset about is that each council area has got different standards on how they go about restraining children and isolating children.
And many councils are there in Scotland? 32.
Right. But
imagine it, 32 different standards being applied to dealing with children that are behaving badly. Yeah.
But I agree with the teachers. This is an important issue. But they were asking their trade unions to ask the right people to issue the guidance.
Yeah.
They should be going to the trade unions and asking them to knock their heads together of these 32 employers and say, get something standardised, put the table, please.
Yeah.
As I say, I agree with the teachers. This is a bloody important issue.
Yeah.
But the trade unions got it wrong.
Yeah.
The trade unions, once again, just when it came to Scottish Government and powers the councils were wanting to give up, trade unions went no. But when it comes to powers that the Scottish Government don't want to take, just in case we get another stushy with
we went through something similar to this. It's just been reminded to me with Section 28, if you remember, about teaching about gays and all the rest of it at school, right? And it had to be standardised and it had to be thrown out because it was the way it was worded was like anti-gay and all the rest of it, right? And we're supposed to be more forward thinking than that, right? So there you go, guys. Yeah, we've been down this road before.
The councils want to complain about the Scottish Government wanting to take some of their powers away to set up the National Care Service, and the Scottish Government wants us.
Get it right. If it was down to me, I'd take all their powers.
David, you can have that argument all you want. After independence, and you can stand on a soapbox and bang your drum for it and see what happens.
And I will.
At this particular point in time, it's not
and I will. The biggest waste of money is 32 Scottish councils. Ridiculous.
Doesn't matter. It's how it's structured. And they don't want the Scottish Parliament meddling with their powers. So teachers, I agree this is an important issue, but you got your trade unions to go to the right place. You asked the Scottish Government for guidance, they gave your employers guidance. You should have went to your employers for guidance. Because the Scottish Government do not employ teachers. The 32 local authorities employ teachers. Simple as that. So this one was baffling to me. Absolutely baffling. That the trade unions bypassed the employers to go and ask the government to step in. Well, the government did step in. They issued guidance to the teachers' employers.
Let me explain something to you, really, really simple, right? When you've got somebody who employs somebody else, right? And then what happens is that person becomes a middleman to somebody else. So what happens is they are paying the teacher £20 an hour, say £25 an hour, right? But they're charging out £100 an hour. That's the way it works. So get rid of the middleman and have the teachers employed directly by the Scottish Government. End of story.
That'll not happen, David, because what will happen is the same thing that happened with the National Care Service. The council will go, no, you're no impinging on our powers. Right? So the whole point of this one was that the teachers were trying to bypass their own employers.
So tear the councils down. Once you tear the councils down, then immediately
Yeah, but you can drag your thumb on about ripping councils doing what you want. In the country, that's where we are.
Independence.
Nobody's telling you nothing. Swinnies don't got independence on the cards.
Oh, right? Appreciate that.
Super chat. Everyone should read All Quiet on the Western Front every year before Remembrance Day. It's about how a young German soldier experienced World War One. Fair dues.
Yeah, fair dues. Yeah.
I'm going to catch up with this chat. Right, that's what's caught up. So as I say, it interested me because the Scottish Government have learned, nah, we're not going to get into this fight here. Let's just issue guidance to the people we should issue the guidance to, the employer. And the trade unions didn't like it anyway. They threw their dummies out the pram. Okay. Right, this one's a cracker and all. Yes, Stushy Brexit in the borders. Hey, over plans for 50 miles of mega pylons to carry electricity from the Lauder interconnector to the pylons which have already been constructed and who are patiently waiting to be hooked up to Scottish Renewable Energies in Carlisle, England.
Yeah.
Right, anyway.
In Scotland, generally we do not have pylons as big as this.
Well,
right?
Anyway, Scottish Power want to build these.
Yeah.
The stooshies about how unsightly these things are going to be. After all, the borders is a tourist attraction for the north of England and the west of England. And in fact, it's a beautiful area. In fact, I would say the borders are an under-visited area, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, the locals don't like it. They don't want it. And Scottish Power, they want it. They said that the route's been carefully selected on cost efficiency, impact to wildlife, impact to agriculture, impact to communities, and impact to the vista of the area. Now, what's interesting about it is, David, we know that the same thing went on in Cumbria, where the pylons are now sitting waiting to be hooked up to the ones that are going to come across the borders into Carlisle. Okay. Now, what happened with the Stushy, the other side of the border, where they were going to build these things? They got built. So people of the borders, they'll get built. Although I have heard, David, that there has been a wicked increase in sales of angle grinders from Amazon into the borders.
The ones with the nice big rechargeable batteries that you can go anywhere.
Aye, 18 volt buggers. Only take 45 minutes with a rapid charge. I'm being told that there's a run on these things on Amazon right now. Apparently, Timu's ain't no bad either, but I wouldn't recommend Timu, you know.
Let me put in a good disclaimer. That is nothing to do with the last segmented item that we did. Purely we're advertising the fact that Amazon do produce sell these things, and they're quite a good price actually.
Aye, and then say I've heard there's a run on them in the Scottish borders right now. I hope Scottish Power's paying attention. Yeah. Apparently, the Scottish borders are now first pillar metal workers. Maybe they're getting ready for the job. Yeah. Local Tory MPs pulling his hair out. because local Tory MPs getting it in the neck.
Yeah.
We don't want these in our area. Mimbyism is rife in the south of Scotland.
Oh, yeah. Of course it is.
But in this case, we're up for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, bit of fun that to finish off with. Right, let's move on. Now, David, I don't know who's advising this guy. But, I mean, I know the reason why he's getting all this publicity at the moment to try and
knowing what you're going to mention, I am disgusted. It's black comedy that you're mentioning, right?
It is black comedy, but anyway, I don't know who's advising this guy, but I'll stick it up. What?
Yeah.
I'll stick the headline up. This is on STV, guys.
Yeah.
So credit
initially, I thought it was on the Star. It was one of his piss take ones.
Aye, it was one of the comedy pages.
Yeah.
I mean, here we go. Who's advising this guy? Honestly, let me scroll this back to the headline. King to mark 76th birthday by opening food hub to help feed the nation. Wow. Wow. Now, apparently, he's going to open a couple of food banks and help this organisation called Coronation Food Project get food that nobody else wants or uses out to the people and his subjects in need. Does anybody get fucking irony in that?
I thought it was bad enough certain MPs or whatever going to food banks, right? Yeah, and open them. You think to yourself, surely they would have a bit more common sense than that, right? And then you've got a king who's actually going to finance and set up these food banks.
No, it's just the Coronation Foundation was named in the year his coronation. But I mean, who's advising this guy? Guy who was in guilty cage, never wants for nothing, and is worth billions, opens food banks because his subjects are too poor to fucking eat. There's maybe irony in that, road.
Didn't Marie Antoinette, before she was beheaded, say, let them eat cake?
Well, in this case, it's not let them eat cake, it's let them eat mouldy breeding food that nobody else
Exactly. Mouldy sausage rolls and all the rest of it. That's basically what they're going to get.
I mean, but there's no the irony. The guy who's supposed to be the supreme ruler of England is opening food banks for his birthday because his subjects are too poor to fucking eat.
Yeah.
There's no the irony in that, road. Who's advising this fucking muppet? Wow. That's his idea of a birthday treat. Go and rip the piss out the poorest in your fucking in your kingdom.
The interest on what he pulls in a year would deal with poverty throughout the United Kingdom easily, year after year after year after year after year.
See, I don't know who's advising these people.
That's not just made up, by the way. That was an article I read, and the money that the royal family have got, it's a ridiculous amount of money that comes into them.
They say, but whoever's advising this guy, tell them it'd be a good idea for you to spend your birthday opening food banks because your subjects are too poor to fucking eat. They just don't the irony, do they?
No, they don't.
Wow. And as you say, David, that's black comedy.
Yeah.
It's also ripping the piss. It's sticking two fingers up to the poorest of us all.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake.
And the thing about it is, the sycophants will be going, oh, look at that. Oh, what a wonderful man. He's doing that. They don't realise. They just don't.
Not the irony either, but David, their knuckles haven't left dragging the grun yet.
I know. Idiots.
But hey, honestly, fuck. Right, moving on. Budget fallout continues. With warnings from all sectors of potential redundancies and layoffs to cover the hike in national insurance and, of course, the hike to the minimum wage. Now, what we're being told is that employers will be laying people off to cover the costs. Now, we heard this every time we'll get a tax regime change, David. But this time, one of the hardest hit sectors have just said this is the end game for them, and that's the hospitality sector.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let them eat swan stuffed with fingers of sausage, says Mr. E. Thank you, Mr. E, for your kind donation. But to say the hospitality sector has been hit really, really hard, David. And that's because people have got less disposable income, and when you've got less disposable income, you're not going out to eat or drink or party.
Oh, yeah.
You're staying at home with the cheap supermarket stuff if you're relaxing with a drink, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the national insurance thing, right? During the week, I had Darren Jones, or the weekend, sorry, Darren Jones is the Chief Secretary to the Treasury.
Yep.
Trying to explain why they put up national insurance for employers instead of tax. Right? Where do they find these numpkins? Where do they find them? Because
it's tax. Whether you call it national insurance,
national insurance, either employers or employees' national insurance is a tax.
Oh.
That's all it is. Just a tax, right? It did at one time used to cover for the NHS and other things like that, but no longer. It doesn't.
Taxation. Anyway, here's another one. Professor David Miles of the OBR last week tells the Common Select Committee who's looking into the budget effects that the changes will impact the lowest earners and will probably put a freeze on wage rises in the private sector going forward for foreseeable few years. And it's also expected to wreak havoc in the gig economy, as they're calling it, or we used to call it the sort of agency world where people went into the agency, signed on.
David, last week, someone I know personally, right? Husband just got himself a new job, literally a month, 2 months ago or something like that, right? And he was paid off. He was paid off a couple of days after the budget, and just it was the old well, you were the last in, so you're the first out, son.
Yep.
And
action cheap booze in supermarket wear. Yeah, apparently Carlisle, mate.
But I mean, that it's ridiculous. That's we had a situation whereby that was one individual that was experiencing a wee bit of growth in their life, got a job, and all of a sudden, because of this blooming budget, because of the tax increases and all the rest of it, a job.
Happens. Now, back to class action super chat. He was asking whether the booze in the supermarkets is cheap. I believe Newcastle, Berwick-upon-Tweed, and Carlisle are good options where they don't pay minimal unit price, apparently. And so, there you go, class action.
Why bother?
Yeah.
Just give up the booze.
It'll cost you more than petrol to get there, probably, but it doesn't matter. That's where the cheap stuff is.
What you need is a truck driver.
Right, I will. Anyway, I used to stock up my way up down the red car, of course. Right, Starmers in France talking to Macron over the need to step up support for Ukraine prior to Trump coming into office. He's also urging other NATO members to up defence spend before Trump takes office as well, because that will be one of his demands.
Yeah, I can imagine when Trump eventually decides to do one of his state visits to the UK, Starmer will be going, please sir, I got all the other NATO members to increase their amount of GDP.
Well, David, that's the modest headlines, by the way. Starmer's invited Trump for a state visit.
Fuck's sake, man. Honestly,
Trump
has already said Trump has already said that he will not stand next to a Labour Party whatsoever because
Well,
he thinks
right.
they're communists.
Well, anyway, Starmer's extended the hand of friendship and offered Trump a state visit. Right. Anyway, so he's out there saying to people, come on, we better get this done before this comes to office. Shows you they're not just shiting themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about a lapdog.
Yeah.
And he must be the lapdog that gets slapped every time, or the UK must be the lapdog that gets slapped every time, because he's flapping around about everybody else's feet, trying to get me to do what Trump wants.
Why? 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 They know from the last Parliament that they were never going to get a trade deal with America, right? Do you think now that in America's eyes that we have voted for a communist party, which is in their eyes the Labour Party, load of shite by the way, but the Americans think that, right? Do you think we're going to get a trade deal? No, of course not. Yeah.
Well, the trade deal thing, we'll get to that, David, but as I say, right now, Starmer has shown what a lapdog he's going to be. Right, let's move on. Starmer also brings back some of Blair's old team. Right, so apparently Blair's health secretary and the guy who engineered the scandal that was the PFI and the NHS, north and south of the border.
His name is?
Alan Milburn.
Right, and he's a chap that's a personal friend of Streeting.
That's right.
Who's the health minister.
Yep.
Right, and he's a chap that has been pushing for nationalisation of the NHS.
Privatisation.
Yeah, privatisation of the NHS and bringing in the health insurance, paying for everything through health insurance. Right.
Yep. Anyway, next
concern is that this guy is a personal friend, confidant of West Streeting.
He's also an advisor. He's also an advisor to private health companies on how to access NHS contracts.
Yeah. The last deal he made $5 million. Him and his wife made $5 million between them.
Mr. E, north-south divide, smart meters, Mr. Milligan. Aye, well,
Do you want to know something? I still haven't got a check meter because I haven't gone through, got leg off and all the rest of it. I've no time to actually sort it out. But I was having a look at the
anyway, apparently, David, the north-south dividers, they're on a digital system that works the mobile phone network in there, and we are actually still using an analog radio system.
Yeah.
That's what that's about.
Right.
Right, now, next up is Jonathan Pill. He's been brought back as security advisor. He was a chief of staff to Tony Blair.
Yeah. And
he was also the guy that spent the last 8 years negotiating with America, the UK and Mauritius to uphold the Chagos Islands in compliance with international law. So he's the guy that was getting it in the neck, or Labour's been getting it in the neck for holding the Chagos Islands back by the Tories. But guess what? It was the Tories that did the negotiations with the Americans and the international community to keep Diego Garcia, as a military base on a 99-year lease, well, give them the rest back. Okay.
What I want to know is regarding BRICS, right? And if BRICS get their way in, actually tumble down the United States of America, right? If the USA cannot pay for that, what happens then?
No idea.
They can't pay the lease on that. As far as I'm concerned, it should be going back to the people of the Chagos Island now.
Of course it should. Anyway, that's Jonathan Pill. He will now be Mr. Starmer's security advisor. War coming. And Liz Lloyd makes a comeback. Now, Liz Lloyd was Tony Blair's deputy chief of staff, and then was going to be Nicola Sturgeon's chief of staff. and now she's going back to the Labour Party to take up a role as a director of policy. Sorry, she's going to be a policy advisor to Starmer, and she'll work as a director of policy. All right.
She was on 108,000 from Nicola Sturgeon, right? So I wonder what she's on now.
Don't know, but Nicola was paying her 108.
Yeah.
I don't know what Blair was paying her, but I don't know what Starmer's paying her either. But she's made a comeback into the Labour Party as well. Right, and the last one, of course, is Trump's re-election has already affected business confidence, as it's believed he will impose 20% tariffs on all imports into the US. It has the OBR, the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, the Scottish whisky industry, and all other major exporters to the US getting their calculators out. So what we're being told by the OBR and the Chief of the Treasury is, if Trump does this when he gets in January, that's going to scupper Rachel's budget, because GDP is about to shrink massively.
Exactly.
And she's planning.
And what will happen to the pound note figure going to NATO?
Well, because that.
Well, with the GDP, with the percentage you're looking for with GDP 3.5.
No, 2.8.
2.8. Right. So remember this, guys. If the GDP,
a different Lloyd, is it? That's not what I was reading in the
you take 2.8% of that, then all of a sudden that GDP shrinks, and you take 2.8% of that, it becomes a smaller amount of money.
Of course it does, David. Of course it does. But anyway, the whole world's on its boots at the idea of this maniac being set loose on the planet. I mean, the effect of the election has been absolutely instantaneous. Instantaneous. Never seen anything like it.
But the thing is, though, it's like we were invited by the news services in the UK to watch this election from another country, right? And I look at it and I think, why? Kamala Harris was as bad as Trump, as far as I'm concerned, because they're both Tories. They're both conservatives, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
Just one's not as far right as the other, but aye.
Correct.
And it's the same here in the UK with the two major parties.
Yeah.
The two parties of the state. They're both Tory.
Yeah.
They're both of the neoliberal mind. They're of the free market economy mind.
Yeah.
The good stuff the Tories used to be known for, fiscal responsibilities, husbandry of the environment, things like that. That's all out the fucking one day anyway. You know, with the selling after the public services. Thanks, Liz. Thanks very much. It's really appreciated, folks. As I know at times are getting hard and we're getting near Christmas, so money's tight. So it is really appreciated that you can still make donations to the food fund. So, thank you very much, Liz. Now, David, we've run out of stuff to talk about.
That's okay.
Hold on a minute. Wow. Wait a minute, where is that? Where'd that go?
Lauren.
Aye. I'm trying to put it up.
Bloody hell.
Someone called DWP. Give us away. Happy days, boys. Thanks very much, Lauren. Someone called the DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions, give you a lump sum, did they end, so you've decided to throw something in the pot. Thank you, that's very generous.
Lauren, be careful doing that.
Aye.
We're all a wee bit pulling in the belts a little bit, so be careful, all right?
Aye, class action, I've seen it. I didn't see it, I listened to it. Aye, promoting transition, sex transition, anybody, aye, after getting a sex change.
I don't, friend of mine is in Belize on holiday at the moment, right? One of my relatives, actually, or two of my relatives. So I was looking at Mexico. I was looking at where it joins up with the USA, right?
Aye.
And we all know that one big part of it is Rio Grande, the river. Do you realise how long, the extent of that river? It's massive. But you look at the actual where the border goes, right? And this is accurate, right? There's some bits where the border between Mexico and the USA actually falls on USA soil. So in actual fact, somebody could make it across the Rio Grande and actually stand in the opposite bank and wave at them and go, I'm still not in America, I'm in Mexico. Anyway, small point, but there you go.
Now, immigration is going to be a big subject with Trump. Things like transgender issues and things like that will be big issues because we know that these populist fascists like their jingles, you know. So
well, also another thing that's gone out the window is people getting, what's it called? I don't use it very much, but where the women are going in removing pregnancies, yeah.
Abortion clinics.
Abortion clinics, that's what they're called, abortion clinics.
All the family planning clinics actually make it sound more friendly.
Yeah. Well, they are out the window with regard to Trump. Trump's getting rid of all this. Some of that.
What's interesting about it, when we talk about irony no being done in England, no being done by the people of England, or no being done by the Americans, you know. I mean, here we've got all these white evangelists voting for a guy who is accused of rape, and being convicted of sexually molesting women. As you know, you just couldn't believe it. You know?
Yeah.
Here we've got all these white Christian evangelists, and this is who they vote for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And a clog dancing ravers asking, is Canada building the wall yet? Aye, they are. And I tell you what, apparently Mexico is funding that fucking war at the other end after all. Well, yeah, we live in interesting times.
What was the after? Was it you that mentioned to me that after Trump had got elected, that the number one search online was people looking to get away from America into Europe?
Yep, and the second, and the day after the second day after the election, the number one Google search in America was, "Can I change my vote?"
Yeah.
That's the truth. Day one after the election, how do I get out of here? Day two, can I change my vote? Because I can't get out of here. Yeah. There's a certain logic to it, actually. Yeah. I was actually talking to Gingers about this, and she's going to get a year, and if things go the way she thinks, she's punting her house and coming here.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in Europe, anyway. Right, David. I'm not working tonight. So I'm partying tonight.
Oh, you. Eh? Honestly.
I'll be partying here, I'll be partying there, and I'll be partying.
I told you about being a good boy over and over again.
I'll be partying everywhere as long as I don't have to get out of this fucking chair. But there is a red hand grenade in that fridge with my name on it, along with a burger, which needs to be battered into the air fryer and salted out to get in my belly.
Oh, that's very good.
And only the best Aberdeen Angus burger. There you go. And it's made locally by the local butcher. You can go along and get it yourself in Airdrie, Ferguson's, good stuff.
Yeah.
There you go, a wee plug to the local butcher.
Yep.
And there's another one down in Bells Hill, which is very good, and that's Cooper's, great butcher. So we're very lucky here, Sarah and I. We've got 2 market towns nearby, and there's basically good butchers on them. And Wishaw's nearby, and that's got a cracking butcher, no? There you go. Surrounded by good.
We're talking about that today. The certain food manufacturers, they offer you low fat this, low fat that, right? What a lot of people don't realise is that when they produce something that's low in fat, what they've done is they've increased the sugars to actually give it some kind of substance, right? And whereas fat, animal fat, real normal animal fat, is fine for you. It's okay.
Never done me any harm. There's no pickle in me, David.
That's right.
I'm back at my fight weight of 10.5 stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's me just eating local produce mainly.
Yeah.
No. Unless I'm going to Lidl's for foreign produce.
No, the difference is it's making stuff that you actually cook yourself. There's too many people eating stuff from Just Eat or Uber or whatever.
Or even a ready meal for supermarket, because especially single people, single people, a lot of single people just, what's the point of cooking, you know?
Well,
right.
Don't
absolutely fantastic figures today, David.
If you're single, just put this in. If you're single and you need somebody to put away, make a soup. Make a soup in the pot and then freeze it and take it out. Put it in one of these Chinese cartons, right? And that's it. Take it out. What's this?
I'm not reading out. I'm just going to say I share Barbara's concern for her relatives in America. You know. Anyway, David.
Anyway, carry on.
One more stunt. I've got a beer with my name on it. I can hear it.
David, drink me. David, please drink me.
And I can hear that burger screaming, "Get in my belly." Right, so thanks for watching today, folks. Thanks very much once again for your kind contribution to the Food Bank Fund. At the end of this month, as usual, we'll get to, we were in mid-Argyll and Bute. We'll go to North Argyll and Bute this next term. And next month, whatever's in the account after the end of this month, I'll be getting it out to baby banks before Christmas.
Yes.
Okay. And so whatever you donate in December, folks, that plus what's left in the bank after we've made our usual monthly contribution to local food banks, will also go to the baby banks. But that'll do it before the money comes in at the end of December, so the baby banks have money for, and it'll go again in January to the baby banks again to give them a start to the year. And then we'll move on to get back to local food partnerships and food banks. Okay, that's how it works. Now, just so that you know, folks, you don't have to be alone on Christmas Day. For a couple of hours, Sarah and I will be on probably from 11 till 1, doing a live on YouTube and on Facebook. And we'll encourage you to come and join us if you're on your own. I mean, what could be better than sitting watching a pair of idiots get pissed at lunchtime on Christmas Day? And the other thing is, if you want to come on and chat, folks, I will send a link to you, either on WhatsApp or on Facebook, and you just click that link, and it'll bring you straight into the green room in the studio, and you can have a chat with us and wish everybody Merry Christmas. Okay, right, David, let's round this one up. Thanks, mods. Thanks, everybody. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. That just leaves one thing left to say, David.
Bye, Davey. Bye, guys.
Independence, independence, independence.